Hello and welcome to the channel and to the video, and if you're watching this video you know that the most commonly asked question when it comes to Football Manager, any version of the game since the game began, is who should I buy? Who do I need to sign for my team to turn them into champions? And today what I've done is I've gone through all those forum posts on the SI forums, social media groups, to see whenever that question is asked, who are the most common recommendations by you, the players? And here are the top 10 most commonly recommended players on this year's version of the game. So first up we have Thiago Almada. I should point out this top 10 list is not in order. However, if it were, this guy would be right up near the top, in the top 3 for sure. And you see you can pick him up fairly cheap at the start of the game. Argentinian, was popular in FM19, even more so I'd say on FM20. You can pick him up, sign him from Vélez at the start of the game for 5 million or thereabouts. And here he is in 2028. This is just a computer simulation, so if you signed him yourself and developed him, you could make him even better than this. But you see he's already got pretty good stats from the AI and valued at 64 million at Bayern Munich. So it's fair to say he create you a few chances and grab you the odd goal or two. Next up is the young Italian. You may not have heard of him in real life prior to this game, but it's Sebastiano Esposito, and he's one that crops, you see his name pop up a lot. You can quite often pick him up cheap, a season or two in. You can get him for less than 10 million a lot of the time. It varies from game to game, but you'll see he's definitely one for the future, one that can develop into a real world-class player. You see here in this simulation he's actually still at Inter Milan, hasn't been snapped up, valued at 66 million, 145k per week contract, and yeah, looking pretty good. Just take a look at his career stats. He's starting to bang in the goals for Inter. Surprised no other clubs are sniffing around him, but yeah, he's definitely one that people are signing on the regular. The next one is the only goalkeeper on the list. He's probably the most commonly signed keeper on FM20, and it's the Venezuelan Wuilker Fariñez. And you see there the main selling point for him is that you can pick him up really cheap, normally between 2 and 3 million in the first season, and he can develop into a top quality goalkeeper. In this simulation he's at 30 years old now and he's at Leverkusen, and yeah, it's clear to see him. He's a keeper that's definitely good enough for the top level, which explains why everyone is purchasing him. Now here's one a lot of you probably will know from real life, as he has played for the Celtic first team and been in the press quite a lot over the last couple of years, and that's Karamoko Dembélé from Celtic. You can snap him up for under 10 million at the start of the game, and he is definitely one to watch. Only 16 years old, but he can develop into a world-class player. Here he is at 25 years old, valued at nearly 70 million, and playing for Tottenham. So you can see how he's developed under AI control, and I'm sure under your management he can be even better. Erling Haaland. I don't think I need to add much to this one. He's the wonder kid in real life. All the talk was about him when it came to youngsters' potential for the future, and yeah, he's now moved to Dortmund. Prior to the update he was probably the most purchased player on this year's game. He's still up there, partially because even though he has been transferred, he does have that 65 million minimum fee release clause, so you can snap him up at the end of the first season. If you're a big team looking for a striker that's going to score you goals, then he's the one to go for. You see in this simulation he's at Liverpool, valued at 83 million, and probably been banging the goals in every year, good average ratings as well, so I don't really need to say too much. Not the best discovery, but the obvious one. So I really wanted to include a defender on this list, and this is one player that a lot of you are buying for your saves. Kristoffer Ajer from Celtic, starts the game at Celtic, and you can pick him up relatively cheaply, and let's see how he progresses. So here he's now 30, and valued at 50 million. He's playing for Arsenal. Yeah, they signed him for over 20 million from Celtic. I think 20 million is about the going rate for him. And you see there another Norwegian who's lining up internationally alongside Haaland. So you've got Haaland scoring the goals and Ajer hopefully at the back trying to keep them out. And so if we're talking about youngsters that are really hyped up in real life, then we're talking about Jude Bellingham as well. Only 15 years old at the start of the game. Starts in the Championship at Birmingham, as I'm sure you all know. Been linked with Dortmund, Manchester United in real life for around 30 million. I think on this game you can generally pick him up for around about the 20 million mark. And he's definitely one that will progress into a top class midfielder. Here he is in 2028, still only 24 years old, and he's currently playing for Spurs. Yeah, so he went to Watford for 21 million, and Spurs took him off their hands for a whopping 77 million. So, yeah, 64 caps for England already, and like I say, still only 24. So, yeah, you can see why you guys are buying him. Another Italian, well known in real life to any football fans, Sandro Tonali, who was dubbed as the next Andrea Pirlo, and he's a similar type player. And you see here he starts the game at Brescia and develops very nicely into a leading midfielder on pretty much every game. In 2028 here, he's playing for PSG, valued at 70 million, whopping great contract, loads of caps for Italy, and you'll see he's become an elite midfielder. Yeah, definitely one of the top playmakers, central midfield players on this game. All aboard the real life hype train once again. Another central midfielder, French, 16 years old, Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes. At the start of the game, he really came into the spotlight at the start of this season when he performed really well against Paris Saint-Germain in that centre midfield in the league. And on FM, he has massive potential to become one of, if not the leading central midfield player on the game on most saves. You see here on this save, he's actually partnering Tonali in central midfield, so I can imagine PSG are doing pretty well on this version. So let's have a look. He went to Real Madrid, he's been signed for Liverpool for big money, and then Paris Saint-Germain for almost the same amount of money. So Eduardo Camavinga, one that a lot of people want in their squad, and it's not hard to see why. And last but certainly not least is the young striker, Portuguese 16-year-old Fabio Silva. Starts the game at FC Porto on a youth contract, and he's another one that has huge potential on the game. It varies, as do most of the potentials on FM these days, but generally speaking, he's going to be a superstar on your save. Fabio Silva, you can pick him up for a reasonable fee from Porto. Let's see how he did on this simulation. As it turns out, not too badly at all. You see he's there leading the line for Barcelona in Spain. Let's see how his career's gone. Yeah, he spent a fair amount of time at Norwich. They signed him for 33 million, and then from then on he started banging the goals for them before he got the big £69 million move to Barca, where he's been a mainstay in their attack ever since. So Fabio Silva, great stats there as well. 16 finishing, 18 dribbling. He's going to score goals wherever he goes, whatever save you're playing. Thanks so much for watching. If you do like what you've seen, you did get any benefit from it whatsoever, then please like and subscribe to the channel. We've got masses of content coming out over the next few weeks on this brand new Football Manager YouTube channel. So please do subscribe and follow me on Twitter to help you get those updates as and when videos are released. And just let me know in the comments, like, what kind of videos do you want to see? What kind of content do you think is lacking? What do you want to see more of? Have you got any ideas? I'm open for anything. This is a channel I want lots of contribution from anyone that loves Football Manager. Thanks a lot, guys.